I've said it before, and this is the first time I've ever said it throughout my entire career. If I lose this fight, I retire. And I love fighting. I love the sport. I love being a boxer. I don't want it to end.
Why do you need to retire if you lose this fight?
Because losing to a Conor Benn at this stage in my career, it means that I'm not the fighter that I thought.
I'm going to come in there and stick it on you from the get-go.
Good.
Straight away. I'm going to come out there hot skipping a big right hand to a big flipping head of yours.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me?
No.
What would you believe then?
I don't believe
What do you believe
I
in?
think you're going to run for your life.
Oh, shut up. Talk shit.
People want to see a rematch. If that is the case, then I will do everything in my power to oblige.
Chris Eubank Jr. has set the boxing world ablaze with a chilling ultimatum. If he loses the upcoming rematch against Conor Benn, he'll retire on the spot. That's not bravado. That's supreme confidence from a man who tore Benn apart in their first clash and is now aiming to humiliate him beyond repair. For Eubank, this isn't just about winning. It's about legacy, dominance, and finality. No hesitation.
But I said to Conor, you know, when I said about, maybe you look at 147, and he just looked at me and he said, if you think that fight was a war, wait till you see the rematch. I was like, and I just feel like...
No holding back. This rematch is no longer about pride. It's career, life, or death. With Eddie Hearn officially confirming the bout for this September, the boxing world is counting down to what could be the most explosive British rivalry in a generation. And as soon as the ink dried on the contract, Conor Benn erupted, spitting fire and fury, vowing, "This won't be a repeat, it'll be a full-blown war."
It ends up a good fight, and I think if Chris has a fight with Conor, it ends up a good fight, but I think Conor's got even more of a chance next time round, because like I said, I think Chris was 1 or 2 fights away from being done. I thought his balance was gone a little bit watching the fight, but like I say, he won, he ended up winning the fight, and so I can't understand that.
Eubank Jr., on the other hand, remains ice-cold. No emotion, no just a steely-eyed focus to finish what he started. The contrast couldn't be starker. Benn, driven by rage and revenge, and Eubank, composed and calculated, looking to bury the past once and for all. Eddie Hearn himself admitted what many already knew. Eubank Jr. dominated the first bout, but he also issued a warning. This time,
I want the revenge, man. I want my revenge. I think inactivity played a big part.
a sharper, fully prepared Benn could flip the script. The stakes? Sky high. No more talk, no more excuses. This isn't just a grudge match. It's a violent collision soaked in vengeance and legacy. Veteran fighter and analyst Liam Smith entered the conversation, throwing subtle shade at Eubank Jr. while throwing his weight behind Benn. Smith acknowledged Eubank won the first battle, but he didn't look unbeatable. Far from it.
We'll decide whether we do the rematch or drop down to natural weight 147 and fight for the world title.
He looked off balance, shaky. His reflexes weren't the same, Smith noted, suggesting that Eubank might be nearing the end of his prime. For Smith, this rematch isn't just possible, it's necessary. He sees a vulnerable Eubank and believes a smarter, more locked-in Benn can exploit the cracks and flip the rivalry on its head. And what about Conor Benn himself? He's not backing down. If anything, he's boiling over with fury. Still reeling from the first defeat, he insists that inactivity and time...
I think Conor wants it next. Eddie was talking about maybe going down in weight. I think that if they want to get it on, they do it again, in 6 months' time. And
timing were the only reasons for his performance. That fight didn't define me, Benn snarled. The real war hasn't even begun. His eyes now burn with obsession, not for glory but for revenge. Benn's inner circle is rallying too. Veteran trainer Tony Sims launched a fiery critique of the first bout, claiming Benn was outright robbed. Sims blasted the judges, the crowd, and the so-called narrative of Eubank's dominance. Conor controlled more of the fight. He was cleaner. He showed more heart, Sims.
I think Chris won it, to be honest, with the sheer effort that Conor put in. It should have been like a majority, maybe a couple of rounds. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have it so wide. But look, the right man won.
Argued. To him, Eubank's win was fueled more by noise than actual ring superiority. But Sims isn't just reflecting on the past, he's issuing a threat for the future. This time, it won't just be a fight, it'll be a reckoning. According to Sims, Benn is coming back meaner, sharper, and more dangerous than ever. The first clash was the setup. The rematch will be the truth, he warned. Adam Smith, respected veteran boxing analyst, didn't sugarcoat what's coming either. This rematch is personal, raw, and volatile. He praised Eubank Jr.'s performance in the first fight, calling it one of the most cold-blooded returns under pressure the sport has seen.
I'm back. He'll be a better fighter. You know, we've got a lot to go back. Well, not a lot to go back, just to be able to take
in years. But Smith also warned, Benn's obsession with redemption could become reckless aggression, especially when fighting on emotion. Smith's take? Both men are walking into a storm. Benn has rage in his veins. Eubank has ice in his eyes. The defining question: can Conor Benn rewrite his humiliation? Or will Eubank Jr. bury him once and for all? This isn't just a rematch, it's a war for the soul of British boxing. Meanwhile, Peter Fury, another veteran trainer, ripped through the hype with surgical precision. According to Fury, Eubank Jr. wasn't just better in the first fight, he was levels above. While giving credit to Benn's courage and heart, Fury
happy. I already knew what he could do, so it wasn't impressed, wasn't about it. But I knew what he could do, and I'm happy he done it. He was listening, and he did exactly what I thought he'd do, and I'm happy about it.
Emphasize the brutal truth. Bravery doesn't win fights, skills do. And in that ring, Eubank had every edge: sharper counters, better timing, superior control. Fury added that Benn looked raw and emotionally unstable, swinging wild and reacting more than thinking. He looked like a man still learning, Fury said. Eubank looked like a surgeon. In his eyes, this wasn't just a win, it was a warning to the entire division. Eubank Jr. is still elite, and Benn has no business sharing his spotlight yet. But not everyone is buying that narrative. Nigel Benn,
he's still a baby in the sport, he's still got learning to do, and I think fighting Eubank Jr., who would mostly be entering the ring bigger than he was last time, can't see it.
A living legend and Conor's father, exploded in pure rage after the first fight. He tore into the result, calling it a disgrace that should never stand. Nigel didn't hold back, branding Eubank Jr. a lucky opportunist who capitalized on a rusty, underprepared Benn. Yet his fury goes deeper. Nigel believes the entire situation was a setup, from the weight games to the timing of the bout. Now he's demanding revenge. A focused, razor-sharp Conor will annihilate Eubank Jr. without mercy, Nigel vowed. He's warning the world. The war hasn't even started.
Conor Benn can fight anybody from 147 to 154 to 160. Conor Benn can fight who he wants. Both of them can almost handpick who they want to fight next.
Yet, this time, it will be personal, brutal, and quite possibly the end for Chris Eubank Jr. Even respected analyst Jonathan Banks joined the fray, offering a cold reality check for Conor Benn's supporters. Banks gave Eubank Jr. full credit, calling the first fight a tactical demolition. Calm under fire, laser-focused, and calculating, Eubank didn't fight emotionally, he executed. While fans hoped for chaos, Eubank gave them control. Benn, on the other hand, looked wild, desperate, and exposed. His swings didn't connect.
The fight really showed us last night that a good big un beats a good little un. They're good, they're not great. So Eubank wins the fight. Where he goes from here in terms of world level, I don't know, because I don't want to pour cold water on the fight.
His game plan evaporated, Banks noted. He also shut down the idea that Eubank couldn't handle pressure, weight cuts, or big fight nerves. He didn't just survive, he dismantled. And that's what makes the rematch so terrifying. If Eubank could do that under pressure, drained and written off, what happens when he's fully dialed in? As the countdown to September begins, one thing is crystal clear. This fight is no longer about belts, rankings, or records. It's about erasing humiliation, proving worth, and claiming dominance in one of boxing's most personal rivalries. Can Conor Benn flip the narrative and redeem his name? Or will Chris Eubank Jr. deliver the final crushing blow and walk away leaving nothing but silence behind? In his own words, "If I lose, I retire. Let the war begin." Veteran trainer Joe Gallagher has launched a scathing assault on Conor Benn's credibility, tearing apart any notion that he's ready for a rematch with Chris Eubank Jr. Gallagher didn't hold back, labeling Benn inexperienced and a baby trying to swim with sharks. According to him, Eubank operates in a completely different stratosphere, battle-hardened from years of elite-level warfare, while Benn is still fumbling through on-the-job lessons. Gallagher warns that a second clash won't bring redemption for Benn, it will bring ruin. Eubank will come back meaner, smarter, and even more ruthless, he said. Benn might be chasing greatness, but Eubank is already living it. The message is clear. The gap in class is real, and if Benn dares to test it again, it could end his career for good. Boxing manager Sam Jones added fuel to the fire, calling out Benn's bold claims that he's ready to fight anyone between 147 and 160 pounds. Jones dismissed them as fantasy talk, calling Benn more hype than substance. He accused Benn of cherry-picking opponents to mask his limitations, while Eubank Jr. has been facing true killers under the brightest lights. Jones didn't mince words. Benn can talk all he wants, but when it comes to stepping in with real fighters, he crumbles. In contrast, Eubank Jr. has proven time and again that he thrives under pressure, with a killer instinct that already broke Benn once and would likely do it again. The truth is, Benn's words don't match his performances. Eubank Jr. is the nightmare he still hasn't woken up from. Former world champion and boxing analyst Duke McKenzie echoed the same brutal message. He declared that Eubank Jr. is simply leagues ahead and exposed every key advantage: power, precision, timing, aggression. It was all Eubank. McKenzie described the first fight as a clinical dismantling, where Benn was overwhelmed, hesitant, and out of his depth. There was no controversy, McKenzie insisted. Eubank dominated, period. He even warned that if Benn is serious about signing for a rematch, he should think long and hard. Eubank's engine is still championship level. Another fight won't be different. It'll be worse. The burning question remains, does Conor Benn truly have what it takes? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay locked in for more explosive boxing coverage.